lot of people here need hope. And I think that's what we bring when we come here, that, hope for a better day, that, just keep hope alive.
This one is a different situation. This is the one where we're going to have the kids that have AIDS, but then the ones that...
The town, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
my name's Valerie Edwards. I am from Kansas City, Missouri, and I'm married to my husband, Doug. We've been married for 28 years, and we have 3 children. Years ago, we thought we were done having kids, so we made the decision to not have any more children when my youngest daughter was 6 months old. And then life kind of happened, and a year went by, and I just had this tug in my heart that our family was not complete. Long story short, we ended up coming to the conclusion that adoption was probably going to be the best way for us to be able to complete our family.
I'm Mateo Edwards. I live in Kansas City. I was born here in Guatemala in Mazatlan, so I was adopted at the age of 3.
We were assigned to Mateo when he was 6 weeks old. I was actually at a business conference. In the middle of the conference, I got an email that came through my phone. It said, "Pictures of your son are in your email," and I literally get goosebumps even saying this now. I just kind of prayed, I'm like, God, let me see his face and just know that he's my son. I knew immediately, and I could get choked up thinking about it. We ended up having a struggle to get our son home. Guatemala actually shut down international adoptions in the middle of our process. We ended up not getting him home until August 28th of 2010. So Mateo was 3.5 years old when he officially came home. But the first time we met him was for his very first birthday. We flew here for the first time to meet him in person, March 3rd of 2008. And everyone was like, I wouldn't recommend you go, because if you're not gonna be able to complete it, I'm like, you know what, if I get to be his mom for a week and, I'm gonna love him and do whatever I can during that time. I was honestly scared up until the point that we were on the airplane. I was actually probably even afraid from Guatemala to Houston. I just kept waiting for someone to run on the airplane and say, you can't take him, or, I was just so afraid. Even when everything was dotted, until I had him in the United States with me, I could finally take my first breath. If I would have had a perfect adoption, I think I probably would have been like a lot of other adoptive parents. I'd go to the home country, pick up my child, bring them home. I think that's what I thought. And maybe someday we bring him back to Guatemala to see his home country. But because I had to travel so often to see him on all those trips, I got to know the other kids at the orphanage, and I knew that those kids were not going to have homes like Mateo was going to get to come home to. So I wanted to do something, and you see a need, and you feel like, okay, I'm in this situation, I get to bring my son home. So I felt responsible, I needed to do something to help. People would ask me are you building houses? Are you digging wells? What are you doing over there? And I'm like, we just go and love all over the babies and, provide them with things that they're needing. And it's kind of like a mission of love.
This is my 9th trip to Guatemala, and it's very significant because we got to gift this beautiful family with a home. My brother passed away when he was only 28 years old, and he did not have children of his own. So my sister and I, and along with For the Love of Mateo, we started the TJ Braden Legacy Fund, which helps with children's education, scholarship funds. I know that you feel like you guys owe us gratitude, but we owe you gratitude for being an amazing family, and we're just so grateful that we were able to do this for you guys. But really, you guys are helping us so much to help the memory of our brother live on.
You can't just go once and see it and experience what we did and say, I'm done. There were, again, another tug on my heart that I'm supposed to do something more here. And so now we have over 13 outreach projects that we support on a regular basis. Esperanza Juvenil, it's a boarding school where these children in 3rd grade, they start in 3rd grade, and it will pay for them to go to school all the way through university. Because in Guatemala, the average girl will get a 3rd grade education. The average boy will get a 5th grade education. And so because of that, there's a lot of poverty. It's like these cycles of poverty, and nothing changes.
My name is Kayla Parsons. I'm 18 years old. As a baby, I was adopted from Guatemala.
I'm Angelina Corral. I'm 24. I was born in Guatemala and adopted at 8 months old. It was beautiful, but at the same time, it was painful because I could have been that girl who was here and my situation could have been the same.
When you're young, like, you get teased about like little things. And one of the biggest things that I got teased about was, you know, being adopted and you know, not having a dad, and being raised by a single mother. I think, you know, not wanting to necessarily like find out who like my birth parents were was just me trying to protect myself from the reality of what might have happened. You know, it could have been an unwanted pregnancy. It could have been that she just couldn't afford to support. So I just didn't, you know, want to figure out what the truth was. So the fact that this was a mission trip and the fact that we were going to an Alzheimer's Association orphanage, a center for women's health and, you know, care, I felt, okay, this is a calling. I was like, we can't miss out on this. I don't know, it's really nice to come back here and experience everything that I've experienced because it truly is an act of service. It's just like an act of love, and it's the most I can give. And I'm super grateful for even being put up for adoption because there's a lot of other ways that could have gone. So yeah.
We have a home project, we call it the Home Project. We kind of started that ourselves. We actually will have homes built. Team members and supporters will go in together, fundraise, we'll pay for these homes, they build them. Again, we found community leaders that identify families that need a home. And so they have the need, but then they also have to have some accountability. So they have to be able to own their own land. Our teams come in and we paint the outside of the homes. They're 2-bedroom homes with a bathroom. We give them a bunk bed, we give them a stove, a water filter, and then they get a big tub of like welcome supplies that has everything from like kitchen stuff to some food. And then we give family bags, so each child in that family will get their own bag of like personal care, some toys, things like that.
With this organization, the one thing that I can tell anybody who I talk to about it is that we know where every dime goes that we raise. There are only a few salaries that we actually pay. All the other funds that we raise go directly to our projects, which is huge because that's very unusual in any world, but especially in the nonprofit world. We prefer to give people a hand up as opposed to a hand out.
I think I'm just overwhelmed with emotion. There's a newborn baby here, a couple weeks old, and it's not gaining weight at all, and it's been in and out of the hospital, and the mom's devastated because the mom is doing everything she can to provide for her baby, and seeing the worries that I face with my daughter is very different than the worries she has of life and death for her baby, and so that's just really hard to see.
That's what we need, like, to survive as humans. We need love and we need relationships, and we need to know that we're cared for.
We all have problems. Everybody has stuff going on in their life, but you know, they always say if everybody put their problems in the center of the table, you'd gladly take your problems back. And when you come to a country like this, you know and you see how much need. It's not, you know, the kids need to be hugged, they need to be loved on, they need money, of course, they need food, everybody needs everything, but most of all, everyone just needs a smile.
Their smiles and laughs are universal, and just bringing that kind of joy to kids, just, it's my favorite thing.
My name is Flortak. I am 19 years old, and I joined Esperanza Juvenil program in 2015 when I was 9 years old. And 2 years ago, I graduated from high school, and now I have a scholarship to study in the United States. I think that education can change our lives, and maybe I am an example of that.
Definitely think she's brave. She's a strong woman. She goes on every day and doesn't brag or doesn't whine about it. She's very, very happy and excited to do the work that she does. So honestly, the way that I look at it, I'm very happy with my parents. They raised me, they adopted me, they went through the struggle, definitely learning like I should not take things for granted and enjoy the life I have right now. Because if I weren't to have been adopted, I would have been in a lot of situations that we see every day here. So
you can't always control what happens to you, but you can control what you do with what happens to you. And I hope that maybe someone would maybe like look at their situation differently, maybe be a little bit more humbled by the problems that they think they're struggling with when they see what true poverty is or true heartache is. Or maybe they'd be moved to like go do something in their own community. Maybe they've always wanted to like, you know, start a nonprofit or give to the homeless or whatever in their communities, and maybe they'll be moved to do something there. So kind of twofold, yeah.
I always say to Valerie that they might see her like as a little angel.